Remaking, and just as importantly renaming, the first 10 episodes of this series was a lot of work, but an undertaking I'm glad I actually saw through. Super Smash Bros. Will be the last of these remakes before one more final round of new episodes. I first published this video almost 4 years ago, just a few days before Ultimate was unveiled at E3, and I started writing this script about a month after the final DLC fighter was released. What a ride it has been. A 3-year hype train, ending in not just the ultimate Smash Brothers experience, but like the ultimate video game. The biggest crossover of anything. I don't even want a sequel. I want them to just continually port Ultimate and keep adding fighters. Let Sakurai retire on this high note and set off on a well-deserved lifetime of chillin'. All the modes, all the features, and all the fighters. So many people got their most wanted characters. I myself got my most wanted, my second most wanted, and my third most deserving, and maybe 9th or 10th most wanted, and so many others. I was stoked for fighters whose games I have no interest in. I mean, Nintendo is often called the Disney of video games, so this was pretty crazy. That's just the nature of this series, this whole whimsical idea that this dude had 25 years ago. So for this video, I'm just gonna do what I did last time, describe my dream Smash game. Much of that dream did come true in Ultimate, but not all of it, and I'ma still talk about both. So in the words of Mario and everyone who was ever hyped about a game,
let's go! Smashing baby! The fight. What does it mean, and where does it come from? An essay.
I usually don't like one-dimensional, single-genre kind of games like racers, shooters, and puzzlers, but Smash is everyone's one exception. Not just because of the seducing premise of all the greatest video game characters coming together to beat the Christ out of each other, but because it's brimming with content. It's just as good a single-player experience as it is a multiplayer one. Classic mode. I actually love what Ultimate did. A custom path for each fighter. Keep that going, honestly. Beating it should reward that fighter's trophy or spirit or whatever. Adventure mode. We'll talk about this later. And All-Star mode. This gauntlet has always stayed the same, and there's no need to change it. But beating this one should reward the fighter's customizable moves. One of the few things I actually liked about Smash 4. A multiplayer mode with an absurd amount of options. A huge board of events and challenges. Trophies were the sweet collectibles of the Smash series, but they were replaced by spirits in Ultimate. At which I was first disappointed, but ultimately I understood. Spirits play into the game's story and themes, and they also serve a function. Based on whatever it is, each spirit tweaks the fighter it's attached to. The only things I miss are those cool 3D renders and those interesting descriptions. If there's a way to incorporate those things into the spirits, then that would be perfect. All kept in the vault along with music, records, those bite-sized retro demos, and whatever other bonus features they can think up. And finally, GameCube controller compatibility. Always. Even though the Pro Controller is great, and even if they make the perfect game controller. Making my dream roster for Super Smash Bros. Was some of the most fun I ever had working on this channel, the first time around and this time. There's just something so magical about all the colorful characters across the gaming industry coming together beneath a single title to duke it out. One thing I suggested in the original video was to combine all the clone-like characters in some way, and we all know now that they had the same idea. They were rebranded as Echo Fighters. This applied to old pairings and even led to new ones like Dark Samus, Richter, and my first prediction for this idea in that video, Peach and Daisy. When I look at the roster I originally made and what Ultimate's roster ultimately ended up being, I think to myself, these are both very ambitious and satisfying, but fuck it, they can be even better. I just have one thing to say before I start.
Calm down!
But if you check the top left corner of your screen, you'll see it says fucking YouTube. This is all just for fun. But, fair warning, I'm about to have way too much fun.
Oh, let's go draft!
And the glow from that fire.
Of all franchises, Mario is obviously the most deserving, so it's a relief that it also has the most potential. These, we gotta keep. Joining them is Toad, cause he's earned it, Waluigi, cause I feel bad for him, and Geno, because finally. Also joining is King Boo and Paper Mario. DK and Diddy finally reunited with K. Rool, and while that triad feels complete, I'm not against Dixie squeezing in. The Legend of Zelda is the most highly revered yet poorly repped series in Smash. There's too many Links, so just Link and Toon Link, Zelda, Sheik, and Ganon, and then joining them are Skull Kid and Midna. Pokemon is the hardest to choose from, so I'm just going with these since they're already fighters, and also Gengar. All plausible Metroid characters are already fighters. The galaxy is at peace. Joining the Kirby characters is Marx, and joining the Star Fox characters is Crystal. Ness gets Ninten as an Echo Fighter, and they all get Porky as a villain rep. Fire Emblem gets 4 awesome, unique fighters, and that's it. Don't talk to me about it, leave me alone. Then there's all the third-tier IPs, nostalgic throwbacks, and mega popular games with only 1 or 2 viable fighters. Joining this class are Jibanyan, Isaac, Alex, and an Octoling Echo for the Inklings. Finally, moving on to third parties, joining Pac-Man and Mega Man is Rayman. Joining the platform heroes are Crash, Spyro, and a Shadow Echo for Sonic. Then we have various icons representing various genres like Simon and Richter, Amaterasu, Lara Croft, Snake, Doomguy, and Bayonetta. Joining the few fighter game reps is Scorpion, and joining the many RPG reps is 2B. Shantae, Hat Kid, Sans, and the Knight help Steve flesh out the indie portion of the lineup. And finally, my 3 craziest suggestions: CJ, Pyramid Head, and Master Hand.
This is the weirdest draft ever.
Another successful draft.
Adventure mode for Smash is an interesting, tricky little thing. The first one was in Melee. It was an almost arcade-style campaign that only took about 15-20 minutes. It didn't contrive any sort of plot, but rather took each fighter through a violent Nintendo slideshow, and I still fucking love it. Brawl had the Subspace Emissary, an epic original story with cool cutscenes and tons of action. However, the level designs felt uninspired, and the whole thing felt a little too beat-em-uppy. But still, it's a classic, it's great, it's always fun. 4, let's not dwell on it. And Ultimate
Don't let a single one get away!
was awesome. Epic and minimalistic at the same time. A visual poem about gamers, Nintendo, Sakurai, and all the fictional beings that bind us together. It had a huge overworld full of references to games and fights with spirits full of references, and it dove into the actual lore of Smash itself. It was perfect. Now, I'm sure a lot of us have our own dream Smash adventure mode, and I'm gonna give you a short tour through mine because the long tour will be its own video. I call it History Mode. A tour through the history of video games. Kinda like that game Evoland. It all starts with a pixel. The fighter you choose fights the pixel on a Pong screen. When you beat it, those little aliens from Space Invaders start falling. You fight them off and then fight the first fighter on his stage, Pac-Man. Beat his ass, exit stage left, into the first level of Donkey Kong. Climb all the way up and fight the Donkey Kong fighters. Suddenly a warp pipe appears. You go through, and there's a big-ass Mario side-scrolling level like the Melee one. Get to the end and fight all the Mario fighters. Do a little Zelda dungeon and fight all the Zelda fighters. A little Metroidvania maze and fight the Metroid fighters.
Do you hear what he's saying here?
All the fighters, and a small taste of what their games are in chronological order from generation to generation. Now that is what I call an adventure mode. A playable history of video games. And what game better to feature that than Super Smash Bros. Okay, that's it. What the hell do you want? Oh, you want to throw down? Okay, how do I fight a disembodied voice?
Loser drops out.
Oh, so I'm a loser now.
Failure.
Okay, now you're just being a dick.
Congratulations.
Something on your mind, old man?
Sudden death.
Oh, well, that I totally get. I am petrified by my own mortality.
Continue.
Well, you know, man, it's just like, you born into this world. I really hope there is an afterlife, but I doubt. What if instead of wars, people just settled it in Smash? So you just take ammonia and bleach, and there's nothing you can do about it in the end. Smoke weed every day.
Incredible.
Yeah. Well, look, man, I gotta go wrap up this video, but, hey, I never got your name.
Roy.
Super Smash Bros. Is like the Olympics of video games, a time when all the major representatives of the interactive arts put aside their capitalist differences to come together for some mostly friendly competition. It's like someone built a video game Hall of Fame and then destroyed it when they realized, damn, this place should just be an actual game. Being recruited as a fighter is like the Lifetime Achievement Award for that character. The biggest gaming crossover on a portable powerhouse like the Switch feels like the culmination of all gaming.
I think we can all agree that this game is the most important thing that ever happened to us, right?
I know it'll never happen, but this show isn't about what will probably happen, it's about what I want.
Hello? Me?
All I want, all we want, is to beat the shit out of Nintendo. Take that, Ninny! You call this a game? I want an absurd roster of fighters, with a proportionate amount of stages and items. I want my dream adventure mode. I want a whole bunch of modes and collectibles and features that make me feel gooey inside. And I really want them to call it Super Smash Bros. Riot. I wish I didn't have to remake this episode, because it feels pointless and kinda greedy. What more could I want? Smash is the ultimate game, and Ultimate truly is the ultimate iteration. The next Smash might be some kind of reboot where they rethink everything in the series to the point that it's a completely different game. They would have to make it different, because there's no way they can ever make it better than this. And that's okay. The future of Super Smash Bros. Looks bright, ironically because we don't need a new one for a long, long time.
大乱闘スマッシュブラザーズをスイッチで作るというのは、岩田社長、岩田さんが、私に投げた最後のミッションだったりするんですね。草葉の陰で喜んでいただけてるとか言わないです。